This seems to be the question to ask right now. Tons of comments are coming through, actually especially lately, but it's been the case the whole time. Why is Giovanni's Persian knocking out my Pokemon before they can even get out their first charge move? Specifically, a lot of people noting Machamp right here. We're going to look at 4 past fights that I've done, but I've made videos, oftentimes 2 videos or more for each of the Giovanni fights that have happened up until this point, and so I'm hoping that this is going to show you maybe just a few new things, but also answer that question for you. So these are 4 screens literally taken from videos that I've done in the past. We're simply just playing them all at the same time. Each one has a number there you can see on the bottom that corresponds to the screen that I'm going to be talking about. 1 and 2 are going to be going against Persian with Scratch. 3 and 4 are going to be going against Persian with Feint Attack. Now, Feint Attack is a dark type move. It seems like a lot of you guys are sending in a Machamp, which is a great choice. The reason that you can't even get to that first charge move is kind of twofold. For one, the Persian that you're fighting against probably has Scratch. I mean, just when I put logic together, a lot of you guys are saying like, hey, I'm level 40, I've got like a maxed out Machamp, something close to it, but a lot of you guys aren't saying the moveset on your Machamp or the moveset that the Persian has. So this is kind of the logical next step in my thinking, basically, and we'll replay each of these screens against the Persian. You know, really we're just examining the Persian here. You can see all of these though to see, of course, the Giovanni fight in its entirety. So your fighting type, if it's a Machamp or whatever, is gonna resist Feint Attack, it being a dark type move, but Scratch is just a normal move. It doesn't have any super effectiveness. It's just gonna be neutral damage, but obviously, as you've noted, Persian hits really fast, really hard with that attack. So the idea here is, like most of the Team Go Rocket leaders, you want to shut down those attacks. The least amount of time that Persian can be attacking you with that Scratch attack, the better. So if you are going to use Machamp, there's a few things you can do to kind of edge the battle into your favor. One of them is to start actually with something else, maybe one of the Pokemon I'm about to list in a little bit, although it should obviously be viable for the rest of the battle too. You know, counter his second Pokemon or his third. And maybe when you're at like half HP or when the Persian's at half, at some point, go ahead and switch out. Some people do this immediately. I like to, you know, try to get a little bit of damage in, but you could then switch to put your Machamp in, and you guys know from seeing my videos, of course, every time that you switch Pokemon, whether it's you manually doing it or them fainting, on either team, the Team Go Rocket side, so Giovanni in this case, is actually going to stand still for about 3 seconds. The same goes for if any charge attack is used from either side, whether you shield or not, so charge attacks are important here too. But if you put your Machamp with Cross Chop, that's going to increase the odds that you'd be able to get your charge attack going. I guess should it need to be mentioned, 1, 3, and 4 are all on my account level 40. Screen number 2, it actually looks a little bit bigger than the others. It's because it's on an iPad and that's on my dad's account and he's level 36. The CP is adjusted by a difference of almost 1,000 in this particular case between those 2 accounts. So even then, you know, your Machamp, it may still faint, but that's definitely going to increase your odds that you'll be able to hit it, do a lot of damage. But of course, many of you guys may still be having trouble. Oddly enough, I've used Giratina. I shouldn't say oddly enough. I mean, Giratina is really beefy and a good Pokemon, but what was odd about it was that I was even using it with Shadow Sneak as its charge move. Now, Persian being a normal type is going to resist ghost type moves. So it's a little bit more imperative that its fast move is going to be Dragon Breath while we're doing this. So on screen 2 right there, my dad's Giratina altered form, not even at 2000 CP. It's not even powered up like crazy insane amounts. It does have Dragon Breath luckily, but you could certainly put your Giratina altered form with Dragon Breath and Dragon Claw. And in that case, you know, it wouldn't be able to resist once you actually break the shields. Shadow Sneak, you know, these charge moves get fired off pretty fast. I'm just saying, as you guys look there on screen 2, Giratina took the Persian out, and again, at that CP level, to about 3/4 of its health. A Machamp went in after that and barely took damage on it. So who else? Well, if you're gonna go with fighting Pokemon, you know, aside from the Cross Chop, you can go with Lucario with Power Up Punch. Lucario, gonna be a little bit harder to obtain, obviously, for a lot of you guys, and then it's like, have you powered it up, even if you've got a Lucario? Let's say all those boxes are checked, though. Generally, in a lot of the PvE aspects of the game, it becomes the best fighter when it has Aura Sphere, so that means that you're either going to teach it another attack, and that's going to be Power Up Punch, or you're going to forego Aura Sphere and maybe kind of have that PvP Lucario, or one that would at least do these Team Go Rocket fights a little bit better with Power Up Punch as the first spot Pokemon. So again, if you're going the fighting route, which is obviously not always bad, and if it has Feint Attack, that's perfect, but you're going to want to break those shields with the 3-bar charge moves, Power Up Punch being one of those, and you're going to want to stop it from attacking as much as possible if you're going going up against a Persian with Scratch, so switch out if you need to. We've already mentioned Giratina, so another Pokemon that you can use on screen 1 right there on the left side. I had a Golem with Rock Blast. The main issue with Golem here, while it could get the charge move off, it only got to do so one time, and that's because the combination of Rock Throw as its fast move and then Rock Blast as its charge attack, it's going to generate energy at a decent rate, but not an incredibly fast rate or anything like that. And so you notice it took the Persian down to about half its HP, and that Golem was fully powered up all the way. And so we had a Vaporeon go up against it for the latter half. And the thing about the Vaporeon, it has Water Gun as the fast move and then Aqua Tail as its charge attack. Aqua Tail is another one of those that's going to be able to be used pretty quickly. And so our Vaporeon did lose a little over half of its HP, but got rid of the Persian as well. And it was kind of on an energy charge, stacked up, ready to go up against its next opponent, which was a Dugtrio at that time. Giovanni can obviously change his lineup, so we're not exactly saying that that is the best way to go. I mean, that was actually a challenge video where I could only use Pokemon that started with the letters in Giovanni's name, so they weren't like the optimal ones to use. A lot of people, though, have used Melmetal or Swampert, as long as the Swampert has Mud Shot as its fast attack, and then Hydro Cannon. You know, it could have Muddy Water, Hydro Cannon, be getting those charge moves off pretty fast. Obviously not going to have type advantage there. Now, you could have Blaziken. This is a little bit niche, unless you got this for your Blaziken, but if it has Blaze Kick, that's often a way to break through shields of any kind. But also, if your Blaziken has Counter, there's going to be your fighting super effectiveness. Can work out okay. None of these are like magic, you know what I mean? Each one has their flaws, some being better than others, obviously. And the last one, I got hell every time I showed off this Pokemon, but Melmetal, I'm not necessarily saying that Melmetal is going to beat it all the way either, just all by itself, but that's another Pokemon that has generally kind of rocked that first spot, breaking shields, Rock Slide being the charge move. So I mean, the point is, I've just given you several options, and we obviously had the comparison of when a Persian has Feint Attack. You know, I used a Poliwrath on screen 3, and then on screen 4 we used a Lucario. The battle's gonna go much differently, and that Lucario was not powered up like hardly at all, basically. And so I'm definitely aware Giovanni is going to be changing lineups for a lot of you in different parts of the world right now. He's already changed the lineup, but this still applies because the Persian is always going to be that first spot Pokemon, unless somehow Pokemon Go one day in the future, I would imagine this would be a pretty distant future, actually changes that up. But I think, you know, for the sake of this video and for helping you guys out, it was very good to address this. Maybe you can let me know. We'll have a video coming up soon of Giovanni's new lineup, where he's got the Shadow Entei. That should be coming up tomorrow at the time that I'm recording this. Right now, I'm recording this on February 29th, Leap Day, and so March 1st, we should have a video of that. So I'll catch you guys on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.